Hello everybody, Lathander here, and welcome to the demo of Titan Souls Prototype Redux. This is a game that I found out about, actually through Facebook, through one of the Escapist articles that's very clickbait-ish, because, I mean, the title is Titan Souls. It says something about Titan Souls, and then it claims, "This is the hardest demo ever." And I'm like, okay. Really? Clickbait. But I looked into the game not because it was claiming that the game was the hardest demo ever, but because I liked what I saw in the game trailer that they provided on the page. Yes, I clicked on the clickbait. Oh no. I feel dirty. Actually, I don't, because I'm actually very happy with the game. I played through it once already, and the first time through, yeah, it was a challenge. But I don't expect it to be a lasting challenge. That's the thing. It's like, the first time through, I think it took me 13 and something minutes to beat. I died 10 times on 3 bosses, because there's only 3 bosses in the demo. There's not a lot in the way of options. I don't think the rumble feature actually works, because I know that my gamepad has rumble built in, but I don't recall feeling any rumble. But yeah, the gameplay's fluid. The challenge the first time a boss is encountered is, I wouldn't exactly say it's a challenge, it's more of a surprise figuring out how the boss is going to react. Like, for example, there's one, it's a brain encased in ice. You shoot the bosses with your arrow to activate the fight, to get it to start, and it just shoots straight at you. It flies straight at you, so unless you're expecting it and are able to dodge fast enough, there goes your first death right there. And then the second time, or every subsequent time that you fight it, that's not going to happen. You know it's going to happen. It's kind of like Dark Souls in that sense, where a lot of the times that you die, it's going to be because you just didn't know that something was going to happen, like the boulder on the stairs thing. But I'm going to jump into the game. I'm going to give you guys an idea of the game. Regardless of whether I say that the game's not really challenging or anything like that, it is actually kind of challenging. The music, the sound design is absolutely brilliant. I love it. I'm going to be buying the collector's edition specifically because I really, really like this soundtrack. It sounds really nice, and I want it on my playlist. I want it on my phone so I can listen to it while I'm at work. You'll probably never ever. Okay, I'm actually gonna turn that volume down just a bit more because it's still a bit on the loud side, and I know it's probably gonna be conflicting with my voice. It is a beautiful soundtrack, and I want it. So I'll dish out the couple extra dollars for the soundtrack. Now, you'll almost never be using the walk. From what I've seen so far, I don't even know why there is a walk feature in the game. If you try to walk at all in any of the boss fights, you're just gonna die. That's all that's gonna happen. You might as well run. Rolling, it's like Legend of Zelda in the regard that you actually move around a little bit faster by rolling, because rolling is meant to get you out of the way of the boss's attacks, but you can do it so frequently that you can just use it as a means of getting around. You can charge up your attack to get the arrow to go a bit farther, and then hold down the attack button, to get it to come back to you. That's a pretty cool mechanic. You only get one shot before you have to get your arrow back. As you can see on his back, he's got a quiver with the one arrow sticking out. I don't know if you're going to get more throughout the game, but I highly doubt it. I don't think there's going to be anything Contra-like, like spread shots or anything like that. It's just going to be the one arrow. You get one shot, and then you have to collect your arrow. Now, some of the bosses are really not very challenging. Like this one is really, it's not. Dodge the one hand, dodge I forgot how I did the fight. Okay, let's try that again. The bosses are not very challenging, mainly because of how they are actually designed. If you don't do stupid shit like that. I'll show you this time around by not being dumb. Give me my arrow back. Okay. Dodge the first fist. Whoa, I missed. I missed again! Shit! if I could actually hit what I'm aiming for, give me... Thank you! Being able to hit what you're aiming for really makes a difference! And then it goes all Shadow of the Colossus with the tendrils of whatever that come out from the boss to do weird things to your body when you're not looking. Bad touch, bad touch. It's a bad touch. Yeah, there's the first boss. Not very complicated. Really not very challenging either, as long as you don't suck at aiming like I do. You can actually hit that giant glowing target on its body. Ridge Racer! Giant enemy crab. Actual historical battle. Hit the weak spot on its underside for massive damage! That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Why do these things always have to have giant glowing weak spots that are easily exploitable? That's what I want to know. Whoops. I'm actually gonna do that because this boss is a lot easier to do this. Oh, fuck. I actually did not expect it to start sliding backwards. Fuzzy fuck is this fuzzy mucker. Fuzzy mucker. Fuzzy mucker. But even though I'm screwing up, and that's what it is, I'm screwing up, it's still not very hard. Oops. See, I can't aim. That's my biggest problem, is I can't aim. Ah, shit. Come on. Oh yeah, it's gonna jump. And I should have just gone straight over this way. Fuck. There we go. I missed. Did it really? Okay, good. For a moment I thought it squished me at the same instant that I shot it with my arrow, but it didn't. So as you can see, there is a level of complexity to the bosses, but it's not really all that hard once you figure out what it is you're supposed to do and how far they're gonna do whatever they do, and then, like that one, the brain guts slow you down if you run through them, and that's about all there is to it. I would say the hardest boss is the one that I saved for last, mainly because you have to kind of exploit the movement mechanic of the boss in order to allow you to be able to attack its weak point. Because its weak point is that big ol' eye on the top of it, and it rolls. And then shoots. 3, 4, oh, fuck. I didn't even know that was possible! I was calling my arrow back to me, and I just killed it. I didn't even know that was a thing. Well, there is a really cool mechanic in this game right there in that. I like that. I like that there's that level of you can think this through and move around the boss and then do this thing that you wouldn't normally just out of the box think that this is a thing you can do. This is a way that you can fight stuff. You can shoot your arrow off and then call it back. You know, that's probably going to be a boss mechanic later on in the game. That's cool. I like that. I like that. You can come back to the center pedestal to find out which way you need to go. The lit up circles are the ones you've already beaten, and the black one is the one that you haven't gone to. So that's all there is in the demo, is just those 3 bosses, but it's fun. It's fun. It's not the hardest game demo ever, because I would actually say that the Bayonetta demo was a lot harder than this was, but this was a lot of fun. I liked it. Hey, I died twice. It took me 6.5 minutes to beat all 3 bosses, and I can guarantee you, if you don't die, if you do everything perfectly, you'll be done the demo in a matter of 2.5 to 3 minutes. Because the thing that takes the longest, if you don't screw up, is getting from place to place. But The game is really, the aesthetic is nice. It has a nice visual aesthetic to it. The music is such a treat to listen to. I love small indie, like, individual composers, and I'm not sure who composed this. I'm gonna have to find out, but I'm getting the collector's edition. I'm gonna spend the $3 or $4 extra for the collector's edition because I like the soundtrack and I want the soundtrack. Right now, I think the game itself is like $15.20 on Steam, $19.60 or $19.70 or something around there, just under $20 before tax. Canadian, of course, a little bit cheaper if you're in the state. Well, actually, those might just be the US prices, and then I'm gonna have to deal with conversion, and that's probably what it is. But regardless, it's like $20. I'm a little concerned that with how quick and how easy it is to beat some of those bosses, that there's not going to be a lot of content in the game, and that, you know, you're just going to be able to blow through the game in 45 minutes to an hour. That, I don't know if there's really going to be enough to the game to justify $20, but at the same time, on the flip side of the coin, the way I look at these sort of things, especially when I get a soundtrack, is if there's even 10 tracks or 12 tracks for that soundtrack, and I spend $20 on the game and I get the soundtrack with it, the $20 is well spent, whether the game is long, short, bad, or good. Because if there's a soundtrack that I actually like, and you know, I can do, I don't have any ridiculous DRM on the soundtrack that makes it so I can't listen to I can't listen to it anywhere but on my computer. As long as there's nothing like that, then I consider that money well spent, because, you know, I'd spend $15 or $20 on a 9 or 10 track CD of one of my favorite artists in a heartbeat. $20 for a soundtrack really isn't a huge stretch. It's a little bit pricier, but considering you get a game with it, I consider this a soundtrack with a game tacked on, as opposed to a game with a soundtrack tacked on. That's how I look at it if it's not the most enjoyable of games. But from what I've seen of the game so far, the game is fun. I like the game, and I'm really looking forward to the actual release. I believe it releases on April 14th. So that is what I am looking forward to. Like I said, I'm a little concerned that there might not be a ton of content in the game, but I'm not going to judge it before I see it, because I might be pleasantly surprised. It might have a Super Brothers Sword X Sorcery moment where you know, there's a ton of content. That game took me, I think, 6 or 7 hours to get through from start to finish. There were puzzles, there was some combat, but it was a fun game, and there was enough content that it justified what I paid for it. And I don't even really think I paid all that much for it. I think it was like $10 or $15 or something like that. About the same as what I'm planning, what I'm going to spend on Titan Souls. So yeah, I'm not ragging on the game. I'm not criticizing the game. The game is fun. I don't think it lives up to the clickbait article that Escapist put out, saying that it's the hardest game demo ever, because as you can see, it's not the hardest game demo ever. Like I said, I considered the Bayonetta demo when Bayonetta was, you know, brand new. I considered that to be far more challenging than this was, by and far. I had a few deaths. The first time I played through, I died. Let's see. I died 10 times. Yeah, I died 10 times, and it took me just under 15 minutes to beat all 3 bosses. Second time through, when I had a little bit of experience. The first time was completely fresh. I hadn't even looked at the game before, aside from what I saw in the teaser trailer. And I managed to fly through it with only 2 deaths because I screwed up. And if I'd done it flawlessly, I would have had 0 deaths, and it probably would have taken me about 3 to 3.5 minutes to beat it. So there is that. That said, I hope you guys are looking forward to the actual game, because I know I am, and I'm going to be playing through it here on the channel for you guys. So regardless of whether you decide this is a game that you're interested in picking up, whether you're interested in spending money to play this game, or you just want to see what the game's about, or you want to watch somebody else, you want to watch me play through the game for you, then it's going to be up on my channel once the game goes live. It's one that like I said, I think I said this 6 or 7 times now. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. 10 days. 10 days. Oh yes. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it entertaining. And if you did, please feel free to leave a like and a comment down below if you haven't already and you want to see more of my videos in the future, whether they be horror or indie or whatever. Hit that subscribe button to be notified when I release new videos. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Lathander out.